Good morning, and welcome to the Financial Optimist. And today I'm asking the question, are you truly free if you have debt, or does someone own your soul? Let's dive right into it. So back in the day, there was something known as debt bondage or debt slavery, where basically, depending on what country we're talking about, if you owed someone money, you'd have to go work hard for them until the debts were paid back. And so that was obviously a huge issue. Some other countries, like here in the US, we tended to call it things like indentured servitude, where basically you're expected to work without a salary for a specific number of years. One of the reasons could be to pay off some debts. There were other reasons as well, where essentially you're expected to work hard to pay off your debt, and you're not really getting paid money for it. So when you look at it, that's how many Americans live their lives now. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, it's the same thing as debt slavery, because you spend half your paycheck paying off your debts, your mortgage, your car loans, your credit cards, your student loans, and you have no savings. So you're working hard all month long, and you have nothing to show for it. You have no savings. So in this case, you're a slave both to the banks and you're a slave to yourselves, because ultimately, one of the reasons why many Americans are a debt slave is because of their choice of lifestyle. For example, the average car payment here is $749 for new cars and $529 for used cars. People pay this every single month just to have a car. The car I'm driving right now, I paid $3,000 for the entire thing. That's about 4 or 5 months worth of payments on a new car. And so people who have these payments, they're literally a slave to their car. The bank that gave them a loan, they own them. And what happens if you don't make the car payment? Well, this happens. So if you don't make payments on your cars, they take the car away. If you don't make your mortgage payments on your house, they kick you out of the house. If you don't make payments on your credit cards, they take you to court and they sue you. This is what happens, because when you owe money to someone, you are required to pay that money back, or else bad things happen to you. And when I look at this, I think, okay, why do so many Americans live a life of debt slavery? Like, you don't need to have, expensive car payment. You can get good cars for $5,000, $10,000, just pay cash for them. You don't have to have expensive cars. It's because people would rather have a very comfortable lifestyle than be debt-free. Because ultimately, that's the big point right there. If you want to live the debt-free lifestyle and you want to have life affordable, you have to make sacrifices. But if you want to live a great life now, you can do that with debt, but you're not truly free. And ultimately, long-term, if you have lots of debt, you're never really free because you never really pay it back. People these days aren't really paying off debt like they used to. If you live debt-free and you live the minimalistic lifestyle where you just don't need all the fancy things, you truly have freedom. But it's more of a modest existence, shall we say. So let's go ahead and look at some international numbers here. This here shows household debt as a percentage of disposable income. As we can see, many European countries are quite high on the list, like 252% for Denmark. Here in the US, we're at 101%. So you might think, oh, we're doing pretty good. But then you look here at Mexico and they're at 26%. So, no, we're not doing good. We have a lot of debt in the U.S. Many of the countries have a lot of personal household debt as well. And you look at this, you think, okay, this isn't sustainable. This is way too much debt. Like, I want to be free. Like this house here. I don't have a mortgage on this house. I paid cash for it. I pay cash for everything. I pay cash for my car. I pay cash for my student loans. I've never even had a credit card. I don't even have a credit score. And when I tell people I don't have credit cards, I don't have a credit score, they look dumbfounded. They go, that's possible? I didn't know you could do that. Because we've been so ingrained from childhood to believe debt is normal. Like growing up as a kid, I was told, oh, don't worry, just go to college, any degree is a good degree, take on debt, it doesn't matter, get a mortgage for any house, doesn't matter, take on credit cards. After all, you need a credit score to build, you need a credit card to build a credit score, don't you? That's what I was told. Well, I told myself as a young child, no, I don't believe this at all. I'm not taking out a single penny of loans, and I lived the debt-free lifestyle my entire life. Now, has it come with sacrifices? Yes, I've definitely had to go very minimalistic on certain things, go affordable on certain things. I'm not living the greatest life I could be living. I'm living in a very low-cost neighborhood, but you know what? That's all right, because it's a quiet, peaceful little neighborhood and doesn't cost much. And best of all, there's no HOA. So I'm left alone in peace, which is ultimately the best form of freedom there is. And one more point of comparison here is when it comes to how much total debt we have in the U.S. here, the average American household is $104,000 of debt, which doesn't include the mortgage. You look at the debt by generation, it looks here like Gen X has more debt than all the other generations. Younger generations like Gen Z, most of them haven't even got a mortgage on a house yet. Millennials are starting to do that at their current age. And so there's a lot of debt out there by different generations. And you look at the categories: credit cards, student loans, auto loans, personal loans, HELOCs, mortgages. And so when you add the total debts plus the mortgages, over $300,000 of total debt, including the mortgage on the house itself. So you look at the total amount of debt, you realize this is a very large amount of money. So you have to ask yourself, okay, do you want to live a great life now and put everything on a credit card? Or are you willing to make some sacrifices to lifestyle, and are you willing to live the debt-free lifestyle and truly be free? Because me, I'm free. There is no one that can kick me out of this house. There's no bank that can kick me out for not paying the mortgage. There's no landlord that can kick me out for not paying the rent. There's no HOA that can kick me out for not paying the HOA dues. I own this house 100%. I am housing secure. Because of this, I sleep soundly at night knowing that nothing is going to happen to me. And on top of that, I have a fully funded emergency fund, plenty of money in there in case an emergency happens. I just write a check and make the problem go away. I don't need a credit card for anything. And that right there is ultimately the best way to live a low-stress life, is to live a low-bills life. And because I live a minimalistic lifestyle and I have no debts, my bills are almost nothing. Last month, I spent $700 for the entire month. That covered everything. Everything else, I just didn't need. So it is possible to live in the U.S. on a very affordable salary. Like, I could get a part-time job at minimum wage and live paycheck to paycheck. Or do what I'm doing now, work a full-time job and put 80 to 90% of my paycheck into savings every single month. Do that for a number of years and then retire in your 40s nice and early while everyone else is struggling to pay off their houses. You're already retired because you chose to live an affordable life when you're younger. That way you could live a better life later. And that right there is what I preach here at the Financial Optimist. Be willing to sacrifice your life now so you can have a better life later. If you're willing to do that, you'll do just fine in life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.